Yeah, good morning and welcome to Iyun Benzion. Yevamos Daf Lamed Zayin, number 37. Today we have a great share. We're going to talk about the concept of Suffolk Mamzer. Do we treat him, do we go L'chumra and treat him like a Vadai Mamzer? Actually going L'chumra, we would treat him like a Suffolk. He wouldn't be allowed to marry Mamzeres. And he wouldn't be allowed to marry Yisrael. Or do we say that we go Lakula, and once they're already suspicious whether he's a mamzer or not, we treat him like a Vadai mamzer, in which case a Vadai mamzer would be allowed to go marry a mamzeres. That's the question the Gemara deals with Lamed Zayin and Aleph. The Gemara brings an opinion of Abaye and Rava, how you interpret Elazar ben Yaakov's opinion, because ultimately Elazar ben Yaakov is the decider of this halacha. Because we passing like him against the Rabbanan Mishnah, Karavanaki, his Mishnayos, his teachings were clear, more clear than the Rabbanan. So therefore, we go with his teachings. So Abaye says, Elazar ben Yaakov says that we treat, and towards the middle of the page, he says, he says, Elazar ben Yaakov says that seemingly we go Lakula. We treat a Suffolk mamzer like a mamzer vada. And what the mamzer, Rabbi says you go L'chumra, which is Suffolk mamzer like a Suffolk. You go like a Suffolk. Now this centers around a central issue. The Gemara talks about more Kedushin, about Suffolk mamzer, mamzer vada, mamzer vada. But it's clear the left of Yaakov, and we passed like Rava over Abaye. So that therefore would come out. Elazar ben Yaakov says that we don't treat a Suffolk mamzer like a mamzer vada. We go L'chumra. We remain the Suffolk D'oraisa L'chumra. We go D'oraisa L'chumra. We wouldn't tilt it L'kula and say Itola and say that go L'kula is a vada mamzer. Why is this so over here? So we explain that normally when you have two valid opinions or two valid starting points, where each is we use the word kavua, each is a kavua, each is a ms. A kad of Adim establishes ms, and a kad of Adim says karov lo, Safek karov lo. One group of Adim, two Adim said it was karov to him, one said it was karov to her. We don't know if it's a gerish or a kedushin. So that's a Safek, a real established Safek. You have two valid opinions, two valid, truthful opinions. Therefore, you're forced to say it's a real Safek, and you go l'chumra because Torah says Safek d'oraisa l'chumra. But where there's no established opinions and there's just a Safek in Mitzias, we don't know what's going on. So then we go l'kula because kaf that they're adif. We really, in a real Safek, we go l'kula. That's the Gemara establishes in Beis kaf that they're adif. The Torah wants to be mekel, not to be machmer. If there's a valid reason, we have established opinions going both ways. The Torah wouldn't go out of its way to say it to be mekel over here because you're going against an established opinion. So here also, I'd like to suggest also that the case is, here we're talking about what? It's in the case of our Mishnah, where the Yavam goes ahead and marries the Yevama within 3 months, before 3 months have elapsed. So you don't know, and then they have a child. So you don't know if the child is a 9-month gestation child of the first husband, of the deceased brother, or it's a child of the second brother, but the Yibam is married after 7, and the child's born after 7 months. So we don't know. So I like this over there, and this is what we're talking about over here. That's the case we're talking about. Elazar ben Yaakov is machmir. We don't treat it like a vadei mamzer. We keep it as a safek. We don't go l'kula and allow the mamzer to marry mamzeres. Why over there? Because we have two established households. We have a household of the Yavam and a household of his brother. When you have a household and it's clear in your neighborhood who the families are, so that establishes a family of brother A, Shlomo Greenfield, and you have Rafi Greenfield, who's the brother. So Shlomi and Rafi, we're not sure who they are. So Shlomi and Rafi. So therefore, two established households. It's like kavua. Each one is established. So that's two valid probabilities where he came from. So therefore, go to Chumrah. That's how I would explain that. And the Gemara on Lamed Zayin Beis brings a case. Elazar ben Yaakov says, Yasser al Ken Amar Elazar ben Yaakov, Lo Yisa Adam Isha B'nina Zu, Yeach Yisa Isha B'nina Acheres. A man shouldn't marry a wife in one country and marry another wife in another country Shema Yizdav Guzel Zev Nimsa Ach Nosias Achoso. Again, we're machmer over here. Now, this is even more of a chumrah over here, because what are we worried about? He's getting married legally to both wives. He'll marry 2 wives. The problem is that it's going to future and create a mamzeres. He's going to have a son from one wife and a sister from the wife in the second country. Then they're going to fly on birthright to each other, and they're going to meet each other. They're going to have a child, a brother and sister, and it's really brother and sister are a forbidden relationship, so it creates a mamzer. He's even worried about that. So you go to chumrah in that case. Again, we explained that. Again, we're talking about when you marry a wife in one country and a wife in another country. If you assume you married 2 wives, you built normal, established households over there. So again, it's suffix d'oraisa l'chumrah, and that's why you go l'chumrah in that case. And the Gemara brings a case. How could this be? There are certain rabbis that married women in 2 different places. Rav Kiaklo Dardashir Machzar Manel Liyoma. He wanted to marry a woman for a day. Rav Nachman did the same thing, again, to protect from bad thoughts. They're doing an Aveira. So how could they do this? We just said, Rosa and Yaakov, we accept the halachas, you can't do this. So the Gemara says, Shayin Rabbanan de Pkiya Shamayu. So Rashi explains the Pkiya Shamayu means Kuli Alma Bishmayu V'Korin. Everyone knows their names. V'Korin Libito Al Shmovim. Yavo B'Makom B'No B'Makom Akar Yishma Shehi Bas Avi V'Yifrosh. People will know who the child is. They'll know this is Rav's child. This is Rav Nachman's child. Rav and Rav Nachman, they would know they're children, so they wouldn't get married. It would never be a problem. That's why they're allowed to do it. They have a little problem. This Pia sounds like the word Paka. Paka Shemaya means they're Paka means it gets lost or it gets dissolved, their name. Also, why would the Rabbanan want to know about this? This is not probably the highest moral act over here. They can't control their taivas, so they go ahead and marry somebody else over there. They obviously didn't want people to find out about this. I would say exactly the opposite of what Rashi says. This is my chiddush, that Pkiya Shamayu, they covered it up, they concealed it. They had to do this for their taivas. They technically know how to do it, but they concealed it over there. So they concealed it. So then, why are we worried about Ezra and Yaakov? Because over here, since they concealed it, so therefore it doesn't establish 2 households. When a man marries a woman in one country, he marries her legally in another country. He establishes, records for the courts and, proper files as a family, as he files his marriage. Here they're hiding. They're marrying for one day. They're not telling the courts about this. They're not filing in the government for marriage. It's hidden from everybody. Wow, once it's hidden, so then it's subject to Raisa the Kula over there. Subject to Raisa the Kula. And even though there's a Yaakov who normally says subject to Raisa the Chumrah when there's 2 established households, 2 established opinions, and we can't treat the subject mamzer like a mamzer to marry mamzeres, here he would go Lakula. It's not known about it. Subject Mitzias, we're not sure about it. It would fall under the rubric of subject to Raisa Lakula, which other than Yaakov is a moda, that subject to Raisa Lakula, we wouldn't have a problem. Because what's the real problem? That the brother might marry the sister, and they create a mamzer, and the Safek mamzer can't marry a Vade mamzer. He would say, no, the Safek mamzer could marry a Vade mamzer over here, because Safek mamzer would go to Kula and a Safek of Mitzias over here, because they concealed it. That's the share for today. I hope you enjoyed. See you tomorrow.